Well, good morning, YouTube. Checking on my road here. Okay, looks good. All right, so pulling out this morning on the this is the Moto Guzzi V7III Stone. Color is solar, kind of a yellowish, orangish color. Dark yellow, I guess you could say. Some people call it mustard, but I don't agree with that. Especially when the sun shines on it, it's really pretty. So this is kind of a video series. This is my second in the series. I'm trying to put together some videos here, just some thoughts and ideas that I had. A lot of motorcycle videos out there, a lot of them that teach you techniques and thoughts and things, and they're all great. I watched many of them myself many times. Just enjoy watching them personally. But I wanted to kind of create something a little different. And you may notice that this is a virtual reality or a 360 video. Different ways of saying it now. The technology is becoming more readily available. More people are knowing about it. And essentially, this isn't just a GoPro camera giving you a first-hand view of what's going on. This is actually putting you in the controls. If you're viewing it on YouTube from any other device, normally you can, pan around, look left, right, see what's going on all around. You can look down at the handlebars. You can look at any direction you want to just by usually swiping your finger around the screen. In some cases, a phone or an iPad, you may be able to just hold the screen and move around in a circle up, down. Now, what's really great is if you have a virtual reality headset. You toss the phone in that, and essentially it puts you in the driver's seat. So you should be seeing exactly what I see as it happens. Like I said, you can sit here, you can look down at the controls, you can watch my hands, you can see cars coming up. And as I go along, I'll try to point things out. Come along for the ride, and I'll do my best to point things out so you can see, what to expect if you get into motorcycling. This right here is just my morning commute to work. So my goal in the future is to take you out on some more exciting routes. Get you up in the mountains and some different areas. All right, I'm getting ready to turn left here, and one of the things you do, we're obviously slowing down, clicking through the gears, but I checked my mirrors. I'm guessing you can't see in the rear mirrors because the camera's not quite as high as my head, and they're set so I can see. I obviously want to be safe while filming this video. But back there we had a turn-in, and as I started slowing down, used a little bit of brake, not a lot. Mostly it was just downshifting through the gears. One of the things that's good to get into a habit of is to, pull in the clutch in here. If you look down at the left hand, grab that clutch, pull it in, click down a gear, and a lot of people say different things, but the best way to do it is to kind of give a little, if you look at the right hand, give a little jolt to the throttle. What you want to do is kind of bring the RPMs up a little bit, and you're trying to match the RPMs as they should be in that next down gear. So you're not letting go of the clutch and just, lolling down on the engine and the handlebars. So it's something you get used to when you're riding. But the other thing I was saying back there on our turn is you got to check behind you. When you're slowing down, you really got to watch traffic. Especially in today's society, somebody's staring at their phone, doing something goofy, and you never know. They may not be paying attention. You have to pay attention. You have to do that. And notice, if they look like they're slowing down, you're probably okay. If they look like, oh my gosh, we're slowing down, and they seem like they're still coming the same speed, you might want to reconsider turning and just gas it. Just go. So you're always looking for that point of escape. Even when you stop in traffic, you want to try to stop at an angle and look for that. Those are the type of things I want to try to show you as we as we go along here. Again, hopefully you can see all the controls. I'm just taking my hand off. Obviously, it's just for comfort. Sometimes I do that. Notice the placement of my right hand on the throttle. You don't ever want to have your wrist up. That can cause issues if you try to take off. It pulls back. You want a nice flat wrist. Going into this corner, we use counter steering. A lot of videos talk about that, but if I push, if you look down at your left hand, if I push on this, it leans the bike left. If I push on the right hand, now look at the right hand. If I push it forward, it leans the bike right. So by steering in the opposite direction, think about the gyroscopic forces of the wheels, and that basically causes the wheels to go the opposite direction when turning. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. That's a beautiful day today. It's my phone may be blocking the gauge in front of there. I'm not sure if the camera can see this or not, but it is 74.7 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty good, a pretty perfect temperature for riding in. It's supposed to get up to 90 today, even though it's the first week of October. That's just kind of how it is in the South. My personal opinion, I actually am in the southern state, North Carolina. My personal opinion is that the riding season starts in October. Some people would refute that. I know a lot of places around the country, they're always looking for summer to get here and go riding. But in North Carolina, summer is pretty much the worst time to ride, in my opinion. You may notice, you can see my sleeves, my gloves. If you look around, if you turn all the way backwards, you can see that I'm actually wearing a full jacket and pants and a helmet, full face helmet. Now, some people may want to go out there and ride in their t-shirt, their shorts, and their skull cap, and that's fine. That's their preference. They get to do that. My preference is I don't ride unless I'm fully suited up. Even my boots, you can see those. Look down to the kind of the lower right-hand side. I'm holding them up. Hopefully you can see them. Even my boots, they look kind of like a work boot. They're pretty comfortable for getting off the bike and walking in. But they are a bike boot as well. They're Style Martine. Not sure the model of them. I have to look that up, but they're Style Martine boots. So, you know, again, like I said, my opinion is this is the riding season in North Carolina. I'll ride all winter long. You know, it does get cold on some days, but a lot of times, you know, we'll be in the 50s even in the winter time. The summer months where you're at 95 and 175% humidity is miserable when you have on motorcycle gear. So, not to say I don't ride, I do. It's just not as enjoyable. All right, so back to the topic here. So, as I said before, you know, I want to bring you along on these rides. I want you to feel, I want you to experience, you know, turning in, counter steering, leaning, the motorcycle, looking for things ahead, seeing what's going on in front of you. You always want to be looking way out ahead of you. I mean, you know, 6, 7, 8, 10 seconds if possible. I mean, you want to be as far out as you can, looking and interpreting and seeing what's going on. All right, we got a red light, we got traffic, we got cars coming at us, we got cross traffic. You know, we want to be paying attention for those things. Now, as I said before earlier, I'm downshifting, but I'm not letting out the clutch. You can see I'm holding it in with my left hand. We're going to stop here in traffic using the foot brake and then the handbrake a little bit. We want to leave a good enough gap between us and the next car. We don't want to close ourselves in there. Again, now that I am stopped, you probably can't see it, but I'm checking my mirrors. I'm looking to see if anybody's coming up behind me. And notice the angle of the bike. It's not in the middle directed at this car. It's angled to the left. Had I seen someone come behind me not paying attention, I have an escape route. I could have went around the outside of the Yukon. Again, as always in any kind of traffic situation where you have cars moving in front of you and behind you, leave enough room. Even if it's enough room for someone to pull out, doesn't matter. Leave enough room. You want to have good reaction times. You want to have enough space to make decisions on what you need to do in any kind of emergency situation. So you really want to look for those things to take place. If you're brand new to this, you know, just some quick things here. You can, if you can actually see, I'm going to lean over. You can look down. The left side here on most modern bikes is going to be your gear shift. If you kind of lean over and look down, that's going to be your gear shift down by your left foot. One down. Depending on your transmission, you may have 4 or 5 up. Notice I'm going down through the gears, giving it a little gas. You can see I'm clicking through, letting go of the clutch, and I'm revving the engine to try to match that. It's called rev matching. Try to match the RPMs of the engine to get a nice, smooth downshift. We don't want to lock the back wheel up or really slump the bike hard. That can be dangerous. So you'll find here we got some sweeping turns left and right. Again, notice the placement. I like to look at the roads. I like to stay away from the edges of the roads if there's cross traffic. 2 things happen here, especially if we're approaching an intersection. The farther outside you get from that car, the easier it is for them to see you moving. They're going to notice a change in placement. I also like to, if there's a car sitting there ready to pull out, I actually like to move the bike back and forth a little bit so they can kind of see motion as well as have a little bit more depth perception that you are approaching them at a speed that they can't pull out, or maybe they can make a decision they can't pull out. But again, it just helps them to see you and notice you. That's one of the biggest things on a motorcycle, is being noticed and seen. You also notice this motorcycle in particular doesn't have very loud exhaust pipes. There's an argument in the industry that would tell you, notice again we're stopping, giving ourselves an outlet, checking the mirrors behind, again giving us enough room in between the next vehicle where we could make an escape if we needed to. But as I was saying, this does not have a very loud exhaust system. Not by choice, it's just I actually enjoy a little sound, a little rumble to the engine. But they do cost a lot of money, so you got to do it at the appropriate time when you can, if that's your thing. But again, there's an argument, like I said, in the industry where loud pipes save lives. I don't know if the research supports that 100%. You have all those diehard people, and there's probably going to be people who make comments on this if they watch the video that refute that. It may or may not be helpful. It does help you know when there's a motorcycle in your area. But depending on how you're approaching, sometimes that sound doesn't actually reach you until you visually see them. So it doesn't really make that big of a difference. Sometimes what I'm saying is the sound is too late. Notice these sweeping curves again, making sure we counter steer. All right, so I'm going to sign off with this just to kind of give you a little bit of information. The goal here is to, like I said, make videos, not every day, hopefully every week. We got somebody in the crosswalk here. No, okay, they're turning around. I want to give you some insight, and I want to give you the insight from a perspective of actually riding. There's a forklift approaching. That's kind of odd. Right. So again, we're still looking, even though we're slowing down. Give you the perspective from the motorcycle itself, not just a YouTube video or a GoPro video or an action camera video, but an actual, you feel like you're sitting here controlling this. And I want to show you from that perspective so you can learn about it. But signing off, this is the Moto Guzzi V7III Stone 744 cc engine. They call it a transverse V-twin because, as you notice, the cylinder heads are sticking out the sides of the engine on both sides instead of kind of centered in the middle of the bike. Moto Guzzi is known for that. I'm a huge Moto Guzzi fan. You'll tell that from my videos. I have 3 that I ride on different days. This one happens to be my smallest, most nimble. And anyway, just today was the day to ride that. So if you enjoy the video, please hit like, subscribe, and again, I'm going to try to link up more content as time goes on. Thanks for watching. Signing off. Take care.